Let me tell you a little bit about yourselves. Our graduating class of 2015, which is, Jane tells me, our largest graduating class ever. We have 230 people here today. So you might not know how many of them were here, but you can see it. You might also not know of how much they've accomplished prior to today. They have completed a challenging curriculum with 7 lower division and 11 upper division courses in our major, a liberal art within the Division of Social Sciences. We have an interdisciplinary structure that's unique in its educational breadth, with courses from 3 other divisions in the college: humanities, life sciences, and physical sciences, as well as from 5 of the graduate and professional schools: film and television, education, law, public policy, and the School of Medicine. Many have chosen to expand their academic curriculums by meeting additional course requirements in second majors, minors, and specializations within their BA degree. And when it comes to accolades, our 2015 grads are a stellar class. Many have earned an array of national and university honors such as Golden Key, Mortarboard National Honor Societies, as well as Latin and college honors. If you don't know, that explains the glitter of all the gold and braids and such that are on their shoulders in this audience. Comm Studies seniors also receive a warm welcome from the nation's top graduate schools. Our curriculum's broad theoretical background prepares our seniors for graduate work in the professional and academic fields of their choice. Graduate programs in communication studies and other social sciences, as well as law, management, medicine, journalism, public policy, and the fine arts. In the fall, our alums will be entering many of the finest top universities such as Yale, Columbia, Princeton, Harvard, Northwestern, Georgetown, Stanford, Berkeley, and even here at UCLA. And the class of 2015 will take a variety of career paths. Our field studies program, which I mentioned before was supervised by Marty Gregory, introduces our seniors to the professional world of communication, and a number of this year's graduates have accepted positions in the media and entertainment industries. They'll be working in advertising, business, education, finance, journalism, music, politics, production, and public relations. And along those same lines, I'd like to introduce today's guest speaker, Harold Lewis, who is a Comm Studies alum and whose career has connected many of the industries I just mentioned. Harold is the founder of PitchToMe.com, an online film finance platform that connects filmmakers and financiers. He has created an industry-leading analytical tool to help mitigate project risk and is considered one of the most experienced and respected executives in the field of entertainment financing and banking. He is also the author of the book Pitch to Me Online. He is previously vice president and manager in Entertainment Banking Group for Union Bank of California. Having identified an unfilled demand in the area of independent film financing, he formed a consulting firm, Film Bankers International, which helped filmmakers achieve a more significant ownership stake in their projects. Before joining Union Bank, Lewis was senior vice president and district manager at Wells Fargo Bank and served as chief financial officer and general manager of Fully Loaded Records, which is a division of BET. In addition to his BA in Comm Studies here from UCLA, he is a graduate of the Pacific Coast Banking School at the University of Washington in Seattle and at the executive management program at UCLA Anderson here at UCLA. Ladies and gentlemen, Harold Lewis.
Thank you, Tim, and Dean Durante, and all of the staff and the alumni and the faculty. And special thanks to a group of people out here. Although they're not graduating physically, they're absolutely graduating in spirit, and that is the parents of all you wonderful graduates. Thank you, parents. I'm very honored to be here, and most speakers say that, and it's true. But this almost didn't happen, and I have to tell you a little story about it. A few months ago, I was working very, very hard on my company, and it was about 4 o'clock in the morning before I went to bed. And then at about 6 o'clock in the morning, I hear the beep of my iPad, and unfortunately, like a lot of us, I sleep with my iPad right there and my telephone, and you know what I'm talking about. So it beeps, right? And so I don't see very well with my glasses or my contacts, and certainly I didn't have any of them on in the morning. So I open my iPad, and I see that there's this message from Tim Growling. And I'm thinking, oh, all he wants is me to do is write a check, you know? So I was thinking, well, I can close it. But then I started thinking, well, maybe let me take a look at it. So I open it up, I look at it, and it says an invitation to be the keynote speaker for 2015. And I said to myself, oh my God, they've hacked his account and they're sending out these phony emails. Wow. Okay. And then for some reason, I was in a daze and I went back to sleep. And so I get up and then I talked to a friend later in the afternoon. I said, guess what? I got this really weird invitation to go to speak at UCLA. And she says, hey, let me see it. And so I went through my iPad and I couldn't find it. I went through my phone and I couldn't find it. I went on my computer and I swear to you, I could not find this thing. And then I was so embarrassed because I was thinking, I must be tripping, okay? I must be, all right? So I had to humble myself and say, wow, why was I having these visions of grandeur? So anyway, all right, so later in the day, I was doing something innocuous. And then all of a sudden, I kid you not, this is true, it popped up. And I said, wow, I wasn't tripping at all, okay? And it was actually an invitation. I was so happy, not that I was going to be speaking, but the fact that I hadn't lost my mind, okay? I was wondering. So anyway, I look at it, and I'm telling her about it, and I'm thinking, okay, what lesson can I draw from this? Perhaps maybe if one of them could be, if you humble yourself, your dreams may come true. Or I thought maybe it's more like you can actually have a stoner moment without being stoned. So I want to tell you why I came to UCLA. I knew I was going to come to UCLA when I was 12 years old. I knew it for a fact. And it wasn't because the great basketball team, although it was fantastic. It wasn't because of the plethora of Nobel Prize winners at UCLA, although we had those. It was because of my uncle. My uncle was the first in my family to graduate from UCLA, and I was so proud of him. But that had nothing to do with it. The truth of it is, and I'll be totally transparent, it was the picture that I saw him graduating. He was outside, and they took a picture of him, and he was in his cap and gown and everything, and it was one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life kissing him. And I said, hey, if UCLA can get you that, I'm going there. And it hasn't changed. Look at all you beautiful people. So that she eventually became my aunt, and I didn't reveal that to her until like about 30 years later that I told her she was my motivation. But as my life had progressed, I had promised my mom that I was going to graduate from college. Unfortunately, when I was a young teenager, my mom passed away, and I was on my own ever since. But I had made a commitment to her that I was going to graduate from college. I didn't know it was going to take me 30 years to get it done, but I thought about it every single day about that commitment. And I'm going to tell you why that's important in a little while. But anyway, one thing I wanted to talk to you about is finding your passion. Now, here's the interesting thing about it is that you can't go down to the local passion store and buy it. And contrary to what everyone thinks, there is no app for that. Now, you might be thinking, well, hey, that's a cool idea. Maybe I can get an app for that. Well, perhaps in 10 years, you'll be up here giving the speech to after you got the Passion app. But unlike a career or a job, your passion finds you. And so the only thing that you can really do is be ready for it. You have to prepare yourself. So how can you find your passion? Or how can you allow your passion to find you? Well, let me tell you something right now. The 2015 class of Comm Studies at UCLA, you all have put a huge down payment on your passion right now by graduating from this incredible university. But let me tell you this. I would be remiss without sharing this with you. One of my bosses told me, and I'd have to just tell you a little bit of a side. I've had a very interesting career, and I was able to accomplish a lot of things without a college degree that most people would have had. In fact, I ran a group that everyone that worked for me had an MBA, and I didn't even have a degree. I had a group of 300 people that worked under me, and most of them had went to college and got their degree, but I didn't. I didn't have the opportunity, as I said to you earlier. But one of the things that my boss, in talking to him about this, he said to me, he said, Harold, a college degree does not tell you where you're going to end up. It just tells you where you're going to begin. And that was a very salient point to me. So you have to appreciate that your passion may not come knocking at the door right away. It may take you 10 years. It may take you 20. I don't know how long it's going to take you individually. It took me 30, but I found it, and I love it, and it's in my heart. So there's a simple principle that I live by every day. In fact, it's so simple and it's so important to me, I inscribed it into my class ring when I graduated from UCLA in 2005. It was that important. And it's 4 words: pay, sacrifice, defer, and live. So always pay yourself first. And what I mean by that, in your particular case, once you get a job, sock your money away. Do not defer saving money. Invest in yourself. So make sure that you put at least 10% of your money away. I'm telling you, if you want to jump, you want to be a millionaire, you want to have the big bucks, do that. But also make sure that you pay those student loans if you have any. Get rid of that and get rid of that stranglehold on you, on your career. So pay yourself first. You know, sometimes that people want to get incredible things. They want to have cars and they want to have houses and all these cool things, and that's nice. But I tell you what, it's probably be better for you to invest in experiences than it is in material things. Trust me when I say that, experiences, and that means things that you do and the things that you do with others. Now, be willing to sacrifice. What do I mean by that? Do the things that other people are not willing to do. That's where the opportunity is. You got to be able to make that sacrifice like your parents sacrificed for you to come here. Make sure that you are prepared and be willing to do that. Another important thing, defer gratification. You know, there's a funny story. I was giving this financial seminar to this women's group once, and one of the ladies, her name was Dixie. I gave this whole thing, and I was on a roll, right? I thought, man, I was really hitting all the right points and everything like that. And she says, Harold, you know, I understand this thing about paying yourself first. I understand this thing about sacrifice, but how long do we have to defer this gratification? Because I want mine now. And I said to her, I said, well, until that thing in which your goal is accomplished, that's when you defer. And that's a critical thing to do. And then, obviously, after you have accomplished all those things, then you have an opportunity to live and live big. Some people tell you that there's no guarantees in life, so you got to live for today. I totally disagree with that statement, because every day of my life, tomorrow has come, and the day it doesn't, I won't even know. So it wouldn't matter. So what I'm telling you about that is, so work like there's no tomorrow, but plan like there always will be. Another thing, treat people like they matter. And I'm going to tell you why this is important. I have had 5 of my bosses become my employees. I don't know how many people have had that experience, but I'm sure that those former bosses were quaking in their boots when I got the job, right? However, they didn't realize that they became the most important person in the world to me, because I couldn't accomplish it by myself. I would have to use them and work through them. Why am I telling you that? Well, in today's generation is so important, because there was a story that was related in USA Today recently about a person that was a venture capitalist, and he used to go to the same barista at Starbucks all the time. And he liked that person, but they treated him, they got his coffee on time and everything like that, nice and hot, but that person became the founder of Instagram. Okay? So the point is that the person sitting right next to you, whether you like them or not, whether you respect them or not, that person matters. Treat them with respect, because that person may unlock the key to your passions. Now, here's another thing. Don't be a jerk, okay? Don't be a jerk. And even though we're in the world of selfies, don't be selfish. Give back to UCLA. These people right here are a gift. They're a treasure. The relationships that I have with the faculty here, they are my friends, and I love them. And I can keep going back to the well forever and ever. And so please go ahead and share. So it's about you, but it's not just about you. Okay, keep that in mind, please. So I know you've taken a lot of tests and everything like that, and you're so glad that you're done with that. Maybe some of you still have a summer class to go through or whatever, but here it is. I'm going to give you your final test. Here it is. So recently at a UCLA Development Academy, there was some top entertainment industry heavyweights. They were all sitting on a panel, and they were asked, what is the most important quality that I could have, or the most important skill set that I could have in order for me to be successful and to get a leg up? Now, here's the quiz. Now, the nice thing is, don't you love multiple choice? Isn't it great? So you don't have to think too hard. You know the answers there somewhere. What is it? Okay, so here it is. So what was it? Was it math? Was it people skills? Was it writing? Was it your computer skills, your ability to text at, lightning speed? What was it? See? And you know what? That was so unfair. Just like you think some of the professors here were unfair with you, it was unfair for me because I didn't really give you the answer, and it's none of those. That's terrible. I may make a good professor one day, who knows? But anyway, the number one answer, the response was your integrity. Can you believe that? Your integrity was the number one response. And why is that? Think about it. The thing that is most important typically is the one that is in least supply. So think about that for a minute. So these heavyweights said integrity. So what does that mean? That means keep your word. Do what you say. Stay authentic. You never thought about this before, I'm sure, but integrity as a strategic advantage. Think about that. So when you make a commitment, just like the commitment I made to my mom, although she was dead for 30 years, it bothered me every day. And so I made that happen. Make it happen. When you make a commitment, make that happen. So take the perspective. So when you do get that job, take the perspective of not where you are, but think in terms of how your job is viewed by at least 2 levels above. And emulate the values that that person or that group values. And then do those things, and that's going to give you an absolute leg up. When you face difficulties, and I'm telling you, they're going to come no matter what, you're going to have some blows to your confidence. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. But self-confidence tells you that you can. But self-belief tells you that you will, that you are committed to making it happen no matter what you're faced with. So make sure that you apply self-belief, and that can be achieved by accomplishing great things. So keep in mind that all of you are CEOs. So no matter what is on the marquee, if you work for Sony, if you work for Warner Brothers, or if you work for Pitch to Me, which would be fantastic. But if you work, wherever you work, you're the CEO of you. So make sure if your name is Paul, Sally, Tom, Barbara, Wynn, make sure you put an ink at the end of your name, because at the end of the day, the person that you work for is you. Okay? Don't ever forget that. So I'm going to challenge the class of 2015. I'm challenging the class of 2015 to rock your job. No, scratch that. You guys are adults. I'm challenging you to pimp your job, pimp your career, pimp your passion, pimp your life, not like a spectator, but like a boss.